Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 10 versus 10 on Rocks Assault, and I'm going to be playing with Home Defence Region London. This is one of the latest divisions that's been added to the game, and I thought it'd been a while since I've done a replay commentary, and this was pretty much the perfect game for this division. It shows off basically everything it has to offer. So let's zoom in and have a quick look here. We've got the A109s. These are equipped with rockets, and they also have the HMP 400, which is sort of like a Gatling cannon. Pretty cool. They are carrying guards snipers to the front, and we're going to be trying to spread them out on the left-hand side here to help defend Echo. I've also got two of the new Foxes. These Foxes have exceptional optics, so they have this, what I assume is some sort of radar on top of them that helps them identify enemy targets. So they've got exceptional optics, 75 points with an autocannon, pretty sweet. Then following those, we've got the swing fires, so the ferret swing fire, another cool new unit. It's got that 23 AP, 2,600 meter range. Got four of those, and then we also have two bloodhounds. Look at these bad boys. I think it would be nice on the animation if the legs flipped up, because that would make sense, but either way, very badass looking missiles. You only get one shot and then you got to reload them. And then I've got two Challenger Mark IIs following up the rear. We've also got a few javelins hanging out as well. So I figured because there wasn't too much on this left hand side that I might be able to dive in there, but these T10s had something to say about that. My A109 trying to land the second guard sniper. These planes are so good looking. But yeah, the A109 going to get strafed on the ground, gets taken out, and the guard sniper will be running from the ashes of that, trying to get into cover ASAP and get into a position where they can get some really good recon information for us. A109 here looking for the kill onto the recon helicopter, and the guns on this thing can do a decent amount of damage. Unfortunately, just not in time as the T10s clean up the last of those helicopters. Not the best showing of the A109. I've had some really good games with those before, where the guns and the rockets absolutely demolish multiple units of infantry, but in this case they were taken out very quickly, focused down by the enemy. Guard sniper unfortunately going to be running into more reinforcements, multiple BTR-40s, no way out here really. Svedka going to be jumping in the building and engaging whilst the BTR-40s gun them down. This BTR-40A has ZPU, so doing plenty of DPS to finish those off. So I'm spreading out my units here, and I noticed that quite a lot of people had gone to the left-hand side with me. So I figured instead of me pushing around the flank, which was kind of the intention, try and maybe take the far side of the river here and just defend Echo from the far side, I decided instead to maybe focus on pushing Delta. So I'm going to try and get my Bloodhounds into a good position. They're going to be wheeled up and unloaded. And all of the swing fires have taken up positions over here. And you can see I'm starting to move them up into slightly better positions. The Fox is going to travel over to the left-hand side. The Fox is in fact amphibious, so this river is not a problem. We're just going to be driving straight across it. Really cool. In it goes. Nice little jump there into the water. Easy peasy. You probably wouldn't want to jump into the water. You'd definitely sink if you did that. Alright, so Canberra on the way, and also the Harrier GR5. This division has some really interesting aircraft with the Canberras. You've got the Canberra with the E-War, which you can see coming in here on the right hand side, and then you've also got a bomber variant, which is very cool. But behind it at the moment I've got the Harrier GR5. So the Harrier here, pretty decent payload, 6 cluster bombs, and we've got a nice target here of 2 T-80BBs. So we're going to try and take both of those out, and good kills. Unfortunately, good kills for the enemy as well, as both the Canberra and the Harrier go down. So my ECM doing me no favours there whatsoever. The Canberra, the E-War actually has pretty high ECM, and it's also negatively affecting radar AA with its radius because it's an E-War plane. So yeah, it was kind of unlucky that both of them got shot down so quickly, but there must have been like a decent amount of AA on that right hand side, and also the Tor is very good. Yeah, this thing is very nasty. 70% accuracy there with 4,400 meter range against aircraft. So Challenger 2's being engaged here. Unfortunately, quite a lot of these artillery, or sorry, not artillery, HGMs. So I'm going to be bringing in my own artillery shortly to help deal with those, but I do have a couple scouts on the way so that we can spot them first, because that is important. I can't shoot at them if I can't see them. So I'm just pinging these to make sure that maybe friendlies can engage them in the meantime. But the Foxes made it across, and we're kind of in the shadow of ND's forces as he continues to push up, bringing up a nice Jaguar strike there to blow up some PT-76s, but the T-10's right on the tail of that. That's right next to the air spawn, so not a great place to be. I'm also going to be sending some troops over to the right-hand side because our team was weighted very much to the left. I figured it would be a good idea to send some stuff to the right. So I've got a couple of Rover Milans on the way. These are just going to provide Milan 2s, we'll just hide them in the hedgerows, and I've got a scout there, obviously, to provide them with recon. Bedford, that was supplying the Bloodhounds, is going to move over and repair the Challengers, because getting them up to full strength is going to be very important when we want to push across the bridge. So the plan here is get recon into position, RT the HGMs, and then push across with the Challengers and follow up with whatever else I have handy. But time is of the essence on a map like this. If you wait too long, then the enemy can build up on the other side of the river, and it just becomes very, very difficult to push across. So we want to be as aggressive as possible to try and get across the delta as soon as possible, really. Nice artillery here from Grimguy, getting the 155s on target. These are the AS-90s that we'll be using shortly as well. New British artillery. Very good. Kind of similar stats to an M109. So, yeah. Decent damage, decent rate of fire. Everything's just kind of decent. Now this Fox, I put it on hold fire. Thankfully, these are on a move order, not an attack move order, otherwise I felt like my Fox would be dead here. But my plan with the Fox is to try and get it through to the backside of the sector here, so we can maybe catch out some FOBs and destroy them, or kill some artillery pieces, that kind of thing. It'd be really, really good for the Fox to get there. As you can see though, we are getting pretty low on fuel, as it has drove all the way from the spawn back here, all the way up the side of the map and around with the cover of Endymion. So scouts finally arriving. As I mentioned before, the reinforcement line here, like the road is so long, takes forever. Now this Fox is still hidden. The BTR 152 is definitely not seeing me, otherwise they would engage on the move. So I'm just keeping that stationary and on return fire so it doesn't engage and reveal itself, so that we can continue to sneak our way toward the enemy. Meanwhile on the right, my Rover Milans have taken up position here, so just put them in quite a defensive posture so that they can sponge if there's any attacks that come towards us. Unfortunately for me, MI2 can be flying right overhead. I'm just hoping that nobody's really paying attention to that, but Vincent was, as he starts to head his SBW 152 towards the Fox, and now that means that that player is going to do everything in his power to stop this Fox from getting into a good position. So I'm a bit worried about that, of course. On the right, things going okay. We are getting into the side of that sector, which is nice because it means we will be able to contest that later on. Fox is slowly but surely trying to get into a position here, but here comes the response from the enemy team. Mi-24P brought in, could just be on like an attack move order as it's come in from the spawn, but nope, is going directly for the Fox. So it's now a matter of like hiding on the cliff here, try and get into a position where that can't see me. The BMP-2s are coming though, and we do just about manage to spot a fob on the side of that hill, so that gets pinged immediately and that will get taken out. So the Fox kind of did its job. Would have been nice to find a bit more than that, but alas. A nice journey around the side of the map, and then to the back we go. And that is really how those foxes can be used. Even in 1v1, they're great at flanking because they have pretty decent mobility off-road. So scouts now moving up, and we're spotting the position of the ATGMs, which is going to make me a lot more confident with my challenges. And I'm finally going to be buying in those AS-90s I mentioned earlier. They will be ready and waiting to engage as soon as they get a little bit further up. I don't want to be firing from too far away, otherwise the dispersion will be more and we will be, you know, hitting a lot less. But since we do have corrected shot thanks to the recon, the dispersion is not going to be crazy, so just making sure that I'm firing them directly, and that will hopefully do the job. Challenger going to try and get some shots in as well, just to weaken them, make those artillery shells more likely to get the kills. Meanwhile, on the right hand side, I did shift up the Milans a little bit so they can help take out more units. Without recon, it's really difficult for them to spot the Rover Milans because they have good stealth. So I'm trying to make good use out of that. Anyway, artillery fire coming in from the AS-90. And as soon as these HGMs are dealt with, we can get more aggressive with the Challenger 2s. Unfortunately, one of the Challenger 2s, the one that was engaging these two HGMs, did get routed. I don't have any veterancy on those because otherwise you have very limited availability. Like on H.D.R. London, you only get 5 Challenger Mark 2s at no vet. So generally I will be bringing them at no vet. It would be maybe tempting to bring them at 1 vet just so that they can recover from stress a lot quicker. It does make a big difference. But in a lot of scenarios, especially in 10v10, having numbers is often more preferable. So my artillery now going to be engaging the enemy fob since no one else had shot at it yet, so we're just going to clean that up. Scouts are sitting by with return fire just to make sure they don't get spotted and killed. And now that the artillery is gone, we're going to shift up the Challenger Mark II to try and kill off any reinforcements. Got more units heading over to the right hand side. We've got 3 Ferret swing fires now joining those Milans. And the Ferret swing fires are a bit better than the Milans because they have more range. And they have, well, yeah, basically more range. They're also good stealth, they've got a little bit of armor, extra health, that kind of thing. The Milan 2 has more penetration and a little bit more accuracy, but the swing fire is still very useful in this scenario for just picking off units at range. So Scout's doing a good job of scouting, and the Challenger has now recovered on the backside here. Bloodhound's not really had much to shoot at the moment. Currently just waiting and ready in the bushes. My artillery is still moving up. I will want to use that to engage a lot of this infantry. I'm going to have to definitely break that down slowly but surely if I want to get across this river. So you can see me adjusting the artillery fire there just to try and preemptively fire where they're moving to. And then after they're softened up, we can move up with the Challenger. I mean, I can even move up with the Challenger now because the Mudschützen, they've only got like 675 meter range on that AT weapon. So as long as I manage that properly, we should be fine. But what I will want to be doing is getting the Challenger machine gun on target so that we kill those a bit quicker. So Ferret Swingfires arriving, and they will be joining our teammate Swingfires Grim here. There's also some Challengers and Abrams and such. We're just looking to have a bit of an HGM duel on that left-hand side. Artillery is firing away, unfortunately not too effective, as this group of Mudschützen kind of dodged the artillery strike that I sent. But the Challengers have managed to get across the first bridge, and they're hoping to kill as much as we can here. We've also got Lynx A87. I thought the Lynx A7 here would be really useful for dealing with like an enemy armoured counter push. So there's a lot of T-80s in the middle of the map here, and they can very easily just come over to this side and prevent my Challengers from getting across the river. So I have the Lynx ready to deal with that. But I also have another secret weapon up my sleeve. This is the SAS. They have arrived. The SAS G. And they are moving in 2 Chinooks, and things are about to get very hairy. So flares going off there, as the Strellas are fired. Osa going for the Lynx AH-1. We're also being engaged by a 20 mil. We're going to emergency land. Try and get these SAS down before they die. The SAS getting the minigun on target as they land. SAS managed to get out on this side. They managed to get out on this side. And that Chinook gonna be trying to get out of there as quickly as possible. So a hot landing, but the SAS survived. The Chinooks survive to fight another day. The Su-23s are pushed off by the Challengers in the meantime. And the chap saying, damn, that was close. Absolutely right. Those SAS nearly didn't make it to the ground. If you get shot down in a helicopter, the squad just dies. There's no coming back from that. SAS though, now unloaded, and they're going to be getting those MP5 SDs on target. Soap and the crew get into it. We've got some infantry to clear out. Modschützen, Rozvedka, SAS, really good at taking on enemy infantry. They do have the Armbrust as well, if they want to take on light vehicles. That Armbrust is otherwise kind of useless against tanks, so it is important that I do support with the Challenger, which is why I'm moving across quite aggressively here. We also want to try and do more damage to the Su-23-2s. Artillery flying everywhere now as things start to get more intense. Swing fire probably could have moved forwards back here, but the Bloodhound's still chilling on the backside. They have very long range, so that's okay. Swing fires in Milan's still holding position on the right-hand side. I also brought up a guards leader here so that we could help cap Foxtrot if need be, but it looks like we hold it for the time being. Unfortunately for me, in the meantime, the Conkers gets a shot into my Challenger, right into the side armor. Turret's popped off. No armoured support for the SAS for the time being, but we are providing artillery support at least. Silver Raptor here with the 155s, and I of course have the AS-90s here ready to help out as well, although I am looking for a little bit of counter battery at the moment just to try and shut down some of the rocket artillery that we've seen so far. So guards now moving into position because the Fallschirmführer may decap the sector, which is obviously not what we want. So I'm just going to try and get the guards here so that we can contest that if the Green Beret leader goes down. We'll also get to see the guards on the field, which will be cool because they do have the red uniform on the leader. Scouts here going to try and move up to get us better eyes because now we're dealing with the Rapira from the MT-12s. Actually, sorry, that's the Bastion HGM, and the AT gun is the Rapira. So we will want to have eyes on those if we want to engage them. Wingfire taking some rocket artillery. Looks really cool. All of the explosions there. Absolutely gorgeous. SAS getting some smoke down as they retreat. These squads are quite resilient because they have the Special Forces trait, which makes them take less suppression and deal more damage. I think they also take a bit less damage, they're a little bit faster. But Humber's on its way, and we're looking to try and cap this sector, but obviously with the BMP-2AG here and the T-80PVs, it's going to be very difficult to get this Humber into the position. But a very cool looking CV from H.D.R. London. Also got some Centurions on the way. These were intended to help clear out enemy infantry. They got decent rate of fire, 2 MGs for hitting infantry. And just look at the distance there. The one thing that I love about WARNO is how you feel the scale when you zoom in. It's really, really cool. 2 T-10s flying overhead. Looking very badass. One of them getting hit there quite hard though by AA. If that was hit by a Bloodhound, it would get one shot. beauty of the Bloodhound. Whilst you only have one shot, it is a one shot if it lands. 30% accuracy. So we moved up the Milans a little bit here on the right hand side. I also did bring up a Bedford to provide some supply on that right hand side, so we're helping a little bit here. The guards have unloaded, and you can see this chap here. Look at him. What a Chad, carrying his MG. Probably not the best camo for this operation, but style points, I suppose. Humber trying to get into cover there as HDGems fly towards us from those AT guns. Centurions trying to get across, but have to again be careful of the T-80BVs. Thankfully, all this artillery is taking down the cohesion of that armor pretty nicely. The Centurion, though, caught with its pants down in front of the Monostraki Metis, so going to be falling to that Humber on its way to try and capture the sector. If we can cap this, it will push our team to a +6. Since we hold both of the sides, the Foxtrot and Echo, it is giving us that +4 over our enemy. We've also got another Humber coming across, and this one's on the other side. Going to try and get that into cover before the BMP engages it. Hits it once with the 30mm. Centurion's going to have to smoke itself off as the T-80BV moves forward. So both of these so close to getting in the cap, but not able to do so at the moment. Endy zooming across here with the AMX-10s, looking for that engagement at close range. Do take out the BMP, but don't manage to clear up the T-80. So no movement yet for the Humber. I'm very apprehensive about moving that forwards. SASG at least able to engage the SPW there with the last of the Armbrust. Challengers getting fixed up on the backside by Endy, so that's very nice. And this Bedford is trying to get across to provide supply for the SAS, get them back up to full strength. Our friendly MRS coming in looking for the cluster hit onto the T-80BV. If we can clean that out, then the Humber moves in. This Humber I've moved forwards to use the building for cover here. Unfortunately, auto cover sends it back into line of sight potentially of the Modschützen. Now we're going to back it up as the Modschützen move towards that building, but with the second group of SAS nearby, we might be able to kill them. So that's what I'm really hoping for here. As we get close, the shock trait's active, we got the special forces, and those Modschützen get absolutely ripped. The scouts helping out as well there with the L85s. So just keeping the Humber alive, and we're going to try and sneak it in now, as there has been a door that has been opened. The T-80's fallen back, and I might be able to move it in here behind this building. So in we go. Rocket artillery now coming in though, and unfortunately for the SAS, they are directly in the middle of that strike. So many rockets landing. Huge strike. The poor SAS. Completely discriminated. Demolished by that rocket strike. They were heroes. They absolutely were. As they managed to secure the bridgehead for the rest of our forces. And we take the objective here. Moving up star streaks now to try and have a bit more of a forward AA presence. But there goes the Bloodhound, and down goes the MiG-23. I could have maybe had the Bloodhounds a little bit further forwards at this point. Maybe I could have moved them behind here, but I didn't want to have to be like constantly dodging artillery. So that's why I kept them further back. And we weren't being hit by that many airstrikes anyway. Yeah, the star streaks have now arrived. These star streaks are pretty good against helicopters. 2,800 meter range, 70% accuracy will just help us pop those annoying recon helicopters and any other attack helicopters that come our way. So the Mark 13 getting shots onto the T-62 there, although the Bradley going to finish it off. I think it showed side armor or something and it just got ripped by the autocannon. Challenger Mark II moving forwards. On the right hand side, all of my HMs slowly but surely got cleaned up, and my guards was never needed to cap that sector, so they're just kind of hanging out. Starstreak firing away, going for the kill onto the Mi-24, unfortunately blocked line of sight by the building. Now the napalm coming down. That's unfortunately going to hit the Starstreak pretty hard, and also the Humber here. The Humber's going to rout, it's going to get caught in the fire, and the leader's going to go down, but we of course do have the one that's still in the sector there. Large concentration of forces here briefly spotted. Challenger trying to hold the line with the help of the Javelin and the scouts. Just about managing to do so. Now Starstreak having another go. Unfortunately with the low cohesion we're looking at a 75% accuracy decrease, which is really rough. So not a single one of these shots is hitting. Even this one with high cohesion, still not really hitting the mark. We managed to take out that squad, which is good because that had AT. Recommend Yuselenea. Probably completely butchered that. But the scouts, again, still doing a really good job here. I was surprised how well the scouts were helping with this engagement. Fox going to be able to get the autocannon onto the BTR. Vito finishes that off though. And we're looking at a victory in 2 minutes now, as it's been an absolutely brutal attack into the packed artillery. 10v10s are very, very bad for artillery at the moment. There's just so much of it. I'm interested to see how the artillery rework will affect 10v10s. I don't think it's going to affect them too much. People are still going to use their favorite rocket artillery. The RM70s, like all the napalm stuff. The tube artillery obviously coming in here. This Challenger Mark II is somehow still alive. Swing fire getting into position to try and cut off the road a little bit. Got another Challenger Mark II coming up to try and help further to the right and just kind of secure a position. Two of those getting in there, but it just takes so long to get to the front. AS-90s seeing a target on the enemy team. There's a player list if you wanted to see. I think it was on screen at the start of the game. But yeah, obviously a couple of people had disconnected throughout the game, as it happens in a 10v10. Or challengers getting absolutely ripped by T-80s. Swing fire's gone down on the left. Fox is in a little bit of trouble there as it routes. Fortunately, the Fox at least can route across the river, so it will go lower down as it goes across the river. Artillery coming in here looking for the Buratino and the RM70. Really hoping that a stray shot catches that on the side. L-39's now coming over. One of those gets hit, but tornadoes now coming in. The British Air Force has arrived. We take down a MiG-21. We're looking to try and kill a second one back here. The F-104s get the job done. These tornadoes both managed to make it out of that engagement after dumping most of their missiles. The T-10's still alive on the backside there. They'd been a threat the entire game. We're just trying to get these fixed up before the T-80s come into play, but fortunately we're going to get saved by the bell as the last tick goes through. Unfortunately, that Challenger didn't survive, but a victory for the team nonetheless. 2,970 kills, 2,890 losses. A very Pyrrhic victory for the Brits today. But that map is always a grind, but great job by Silver here. Nice KD, and good KD from the 3rd Armoured. Very nicely done. The artillery was so important. You can see that until the artillery came in, we weren't really making any progress in terms of kills. The Fox managed to get around the rear and find the fob for us, which was nice. So we did get a fob kill. The Harrier on the right getting the double T80 early on definitely helped the momentum on the right side of the map for the team, and all of our HGEMs over there were certainly helping as well, I think. Just kind of hold back those forces. The SAS, it doesn't look like they did much on the kills here, but they certainly had an awesome drop, and I think created the bridgehead for the rest of my troops to come across. Bloodhound, unfortunately didn't get too many kills, but at least you got to see it in action. And the tornadoes, they're coming in at the end for an awesome dogfight. I just thought there was like so many stages in this game where there was awesome things happening, and hopefully you guys really enjoyed that. Let me know what you think about Home Defence Region London. Do you like it? I think it's a really, really fun battle group. That's all from me though. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.